Good evening, good day, wherever you might be. I'm Harold Sanford Carter III, and this is Witchcraft TV News. We bring you a story that should never have had to be told in 2026. A story of a dream built with love, service, and community, now under attack. A story of a Covenstead that sought only to offer light and instead was met with fear, hostility, and discrimination. This is a story of New Moon Eclectics in Washington, Georgia. The beginning of a dream. New Moon Eclectics was established as an LLC on September 30th, 2024. The property, an acre and a half, had a small witch shop, 2 RVs in a medium-sized building. It was purchased by Priestess Rhonda Fields on November 18th, 2024 for about $60,000, including $40,000, including restoration costs. The land was zoned C3. Every public real estate listing reflected that. For nearly half a century, 48 years, the previous owner, Robert Jones of Dixie Wood Products, lived and worked on that same land without a single issue from Wilkes County. Priestess Rhonda's vision was simple: a safe place for pagans, Wiccans, and witches, an eclectic narrative to gather, a study to teach, to feed and clothe the local community, and to offer support where support was needed, a place of peace. In the fall of 2025, I traveled to Georgia to help bring that dream to life. I installed new ceilings, new floors, new windows, and painted the walls a deep, beautiful purple, the color of intuition, magic, and spiritual sovereignty. I had done similar work for the pagan community across the country. And New Moon Eclectics was the newest chapter in that long tradition. But in Wilkes County, Georgia, that dream was not welcomed. The first signs of trouble on October 10th, 2025, after attending a Chamber of Commerce meeting where New Moon Eclectics had joined as a local business, I was followed home by a sheriff's deputy, Austin Pluger. When I arrived at the Covenstead, he pulled in behind me, expressed the concern about my low-speed vehicle, a moped. Priestess Rhonda and I gave him a friendly tour of the newly renovated shop. He said everything was fine. He said it was allowed to operate the vehicle. A week later, on October 17th, the same deputy pulled me over again. This time, he arrested me for driving without a license and reckless driving. I was bailed out the same day. The next morning, Deputy Pluger texted me personally. He reached out to me and then never responded again. That same day, Code Enforcement Officer Jimmy Toto issued violations against New Moon Eclectics for residential use in an industrial zone and incorrect or non-functioning septic system. The RVs were immediately unhooked and moved. Priestess Rhonda and I left the residence entirely as instructed. We took jobs as over-the-road truck drivers with Creek Carrier on November 5th, 2025, leaving the property under the care of a young security worker named Matt. Surveillance cameras were then installed. We complied with every instruction given by Wilkes County, but the compliance was never the goal of those targeting us. The mob gathers on November 13th, 2025. A group of extreme Christians gathered in the town square at 5 p.m. to pray against a satanic invasion of New Moon Eclectics. That gathering was led by Kathy Madden of Washington, Georgia. At 6 p.m., that same group and mob met with county commissioners. Witchcraft TV is currently working to obtain the minutes from that meeting. 1 week later, November 20th, the Journal Messenger, a local newspaper, published a front-page article titled, "Wilkes Commissioners Hear Complaints of Witchcraft Occult Practices." In that article, Baptist Pastor Brenda Lunsford Van Diver claimed that the New Moon Eclectics promoted witchcraft, spiritualism, black magic, and other occult activities. She said we would influence children. She said we would attract crime. She said we were evil. She said we were sinful. She said we did not belong. The county commissioner, Moore, responded by referencing the zoning and sanitation violations issued only after the sheriff's department began targeting us. He said, hopefully, this is going to take care of it. He said that while the county did not regulate personal beliefs, we could not operate at that location. He said further enforcement would follow, fines or jail. Legal pressure builds. On December 7th, 2025, Sheriff Deputy MTL Jr. arrived at the property and issued a summons to the security worker, Matt, The young man watching over the land, Priestess Rhonda's copy of the summons was handed to him to forward. We returned to Georgia on February 4th at the New Moon Eclectics Covenstead to face the escalating legal situation. On February 6th, Priestess Rhonda met with Code Enforcement Officer Toto. He gave her 60 days to vacate the land she legally purchased. On February 10th, we appeared in court to address the violations that had already been corrected. But Priestess Rhonda was not allowed to speak to the judge. The judge did not wear traditional judicial attire. The courtroom was loud, chaotic, and disorganized. A secretary, not a judge, told her she owed $4,000 in fines. When she asked for a payment plan, she was told she could have one, but she would be placed on probation. Priestess Rhonda has never been arrested. She has no criminal record. She has served her community her entire life. She refused to be intimidated. She refused to be silenced. She declared she would take Wilkes County to trial. And that's where we stand today. The fight ahead, New Moon Eclectics is preparing for trial. We're contacting civil rights attorneys. We're preparing a formal civil rights complaint against the county commissioners, the sheriff's department, local Baptist clergy, and any officials who participated in or supported discriminatory actions. The property is now up for sale. We hope to purchase another location, one where we can operate without harassment, without hostility, and without fear. A closing message to the community, to the pagan, Wiccan, and witchcraft community watching this broadcast. This is not just our story. This is the story of every practitioner who has ever been told they do not belong. Every witch who has been whispered about. Every pagan who's been pushed to the margins. Every Wiccan who has been treated as a threat simply for existing. What is happening in Wilkes County is not just a zoning dispute. It is not just a misunderstanding. It is a coordinated effort to remove a pagan, Wiccan, and witchcraft presence from a community that does not want us here. But we will not soon disappear. We will not be erased. We will not bow our heads and walk away quietly. We stand in the long shadow of those who came before us, those who survived fare worse in far darker times than in contemporary times. We honor them by refusing to surrender now. New Moon Eclectics will continue its mission. Witchcraft TV will continue to broadcast and report and bring the very best of pagan, witchcraft, Wiccan, and magic media. And together, as a community, we will continue to rise. I'm Harold Sanford Carter III. Thank you for listening, and may the gods watch over all who walk the path.